Like, I haven't seen lawyers talk like this.
Muskan, my suggestion to a law student would be always join a startup first.
Where would you start learning about legal tech?
The base level always has to be the law, right, which you're learning as
Hmm.
on day. The second layer to that would be the tools, the AI. I think it's nowhere that you need to be in the top tier industry. Everything is getting digitized, and this is a kind of massive transformation. Multiple companies have come in this legal tech
AI will
space now.
probably, like most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there will be great companies created with serious machine learning.
So, hi guys, today we have Gautami Raikar, the founder and CEO of Contractzy, and I'm very excited for this conversation. Let's dive into this and let's talk to her कि हमें आज क्या नया सीखने को मिलता है, ठीक है? So, hi Gautami, how are you?
Hi Muskan, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. So, tell us what is Contractzy and how it all started.
Right, Muskan. So just as you graduated from law, I did my law LLB and LLM from Goa University way back in 2013, and with a lot of passion, as you say, trying to deliver justice. I did practice for a couple of months, but then I just had some other interest specifically. Did not really interest me in the practice segment, even though I was actually looking forward to that. But then life took its own turns, and I ended up in the incubation center in Goa, which basically helps enterprises and businesses, and that's where the eyes opened in terms of identifying much more avenues in the legal space, right? And that's how I happened to think what else can be done in the legal field. So I started with the very basics. I did not have any backups then. I just went as clear as possible. So I realized that in Goa itself, businesses did not help really get help in terms of the legal compliance part. Many a times I realized they did not know which licenses are required to start a business, or what kind of rules are applicable for starting a business in Goa. That I felt was a kind of vacuum, which I could actually tap in, right? And that's how I launched my first venture called lawmate.in, which was a business compliance, like similar to Vakil Search or India filings, but it was exclusively for Goa. And then I started attending a lot of entrepreneurial programs, which was very like ground zero, because coming from the law background and getting kind of exposure into this, but it did open up a lot more doors for and opportunities for me, and that's how we grew in this space. And eventually in 2018, I happened to realize that a lot of paperwork that happens in India was completely done manually. Right from affidavits to a simple agreement like a legal license, a contract that we would see, would be done in a kind of draft format over, a lot of printing work and complete manual. That was like the time when this idea ignited, like why not build a digital platform for having all these templates in one platform. That's exactly where Contractzy, formerly known as the Legal Capsule, came into existence. So it was a B2C platform, like direct consumer, where anyone could just log in, find the template or a standard contract or agreement, put in the details, apply a stamp paper and get it home delivered. So that was the first phase where we launched it as simple as possible. But eventually, as COVID hit, everyone was completely working remotely, and we realized with a lot of interactions with corporates and large enterprises that the volume of transactions are enormous in that space. And as I speak, there are thousands and lakhs of contracts that are getting signed, and these were getting done manually even during that time. And that's the time where due to this the phase of COVID, companies realize that they need to adopt digital tools to go live and see what can be done to maximize the output and ensure that it is completely digital. That's where Contractzy came into existence as a B2B. So we pivoted to enterprise level, where our solution could help any company or any enterprise to sign contracts electronically, to ensure that all the compliances for contracts are governed within a single platform. So that's how has been our journey, Muskan.
That's really interesting. So I'm also not that interested in practice and litigation, so I started
Right.
teaching. So you told me that somewhere you took the name of law mate.
That's
So
right.
yeah. My YouTube channel's earlier name was Lawmate.
Wow. Great.
Yeah,
Wow. That's great to hear, Muskan. That's great to hear.
yeah. So I'm really impressed by this business acumen. Like I haven't seen lawyers talk like this in terms of business language. Like I saw this vacuum and then I started.
Right.
Lawyers are too much into forming strategies and everything.
Right.
But switching to business is something very different. That I also talk about, like lawyers should know about sales and marketing, but this is completely different. A lawyer is starting a business.
Right.
Yeah, so you're motivating us for sure.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely on for that because I think it's high time the law students and future lawyers
Hmm.
who think in a kind of very innovative, because legal and any space that we see or a sector would definitely evolve over technology and AI going forward. And I think
100%.
you're doing a fantastic work, Muskan, actually bringing a lot of such initiatives before students, so that would really help
Yeah.
look have a kind of new perspective of how we can actually look at the legal education going forward.
Exactly, because I didn't find anyone to teach me about how artificial intelligence and the law can, go together hand in hand and create something different. Like no one is talking about personal branding for lawyers. I don't know why, but this is so important for lawyers as well, because we can't market in India, but we can definitely build a brand of our own personality. That is
Absolutely.
not like, yeah. So that's why I started small thing.
Right.
Yeah. So contracts in India have traditionally been full of paperwork, as you mentioned. So is this changing now, or is this the same thing? Because in high courts and district courts, as I saw, there are bundles of files and everything. But still, I think, is there any change?
Right, and Muskan. I mean, over the time that I've spent in this space and
Hmm.
looking at the legal tech innovations happening across
Hmm.
India, there are several other firms who are doing quite a lot of work, digitizing and transforming the legal tech space, the legal education space also. So I feel that we are on the right track, right from judiciary to corporate level to consumer level. Everything is getting digitized, and this is a kind of massive transformation. We are in the space, we are already in that space of evolving the legal judicial system completely. I think going forward in the next 5 to 8 years, you would see a rapid transformation, right from the ODR, like the online dispute resolution space, to contract management,
Hmm. Hmm.
litigation management. There are multiple tools that have been built, Muskan, and as we speak, there are people who are actually innovating in the space already. I think we need to change the way of how, as you rightly pointed out, the I think it stems down to what exactly we are trying to graduate, and what kind of skill sets would really help to build this future for in the legal space. I think that is what we need to work on. But I think, yeah, we are on the right track, already working towards it. If you see in the last 2 years, we have seen a rapid transformation. Multiple companies have come in this legal tech space now because that's booming. The realization specifically came, Muskan, as from what I realized is this realization came while COVID hit, right? And I think working remotely, understanding the requirement and the need to go digital has come
Hmm.
across
Hmm.
entire nation, and we are working towards it.
COVID gave boost to all this, I guess.
Absolutely,
Yeah. Huh.
absolutely. So I feel the start point even for our growth. I mean, we
Hmm.
started off B2C, and but then just hit us in the right space, and we knew that the corporates would need a tool which would really digitize the contracts for them.
Timing matters a lot in business, I guess. Timing is,
Absolutely.
yeah. Also, the professors must listen to this conversation because you're really telling us some important points.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, the education part, I think we need to, been still good enough, but I feel we need to focus on other aspects also.
Hmm.
Building on the entrepreneurship sales, the innovation councils, giving that exposure to the law student in terms of, incubation centers, accelerator programs. Specifically in the legal tech space, we were also part of the cybersecurity program with IIT Kharagpur.
Okay.
Probably that's going to be helpful for the law students also,
Hmm.
which wherein they focus on how the
Hmm.
governance part would help for cybersecurity. Going forward, the AI would pick up on the cyber security aspects. So I feel there's huge scope, growth, opportunities for the students there. As AI grows, I mean, as we adopt to AI, I think the legal would go hand in hand to that, because we are all worried about the security, the compliance, regulations, governance is all that's going to be, right, working simultaneously with AI and the growth in technology.
Of course. And like students, law students must ask this question, if we are investing in this 5-year law program, what we are going to get in return? Because as times are changing, they also have a responsibility to ask some important questions. Like,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
are they working on their skills or not?
That's true.
So,
That's true.
yeah. Yeah. Next question is, what is contract life cycle management and how AI helps in this?
Absolutely. That's a long term.
Yeah.
Many are still not very clear what
Hmm.
CLM or contract lifecycle management
Exactly.
is.
Yeah.
So it's actually the same place where we are. We realize that the contract stages that are involved while you
Hmm.
actually initiate a transaction, be it a simple tenancy agreement to master service level agreement for a corporate. It all starts with a request, like raising a request for a contract, initiating it in MS Word, negotiating the contract, seeking approvals from the other parties, the counterparties involved in the contract, then finalizing it, approving it, taking the signatures, and then you store the contracts in the cloud. So entire process, which is right from the request stage to an approval, initiations, getting the sign and stored, this entire cycle is called as contract lifecycle management. So the
Okay.
reason why this is brought in is because if you see that in the manual process, it's all scattered, right? It's unstructured way. Because if you see the process, any of the people who are actually working on contracts, they're doing it manually, right? Using a MS Word file and then sending it over emails, multiple exchanges, multiple files being created with versioning. There's no access to which is the latest version. Where are the approvals taken? No idea about that. And then you have like the signatures being done offline, sometimes even exchanging over emails, printing it,
True.
signing it, and then you don't have the paperwork all piled up, as you said, right? There's a lot of paperwork, and you imagine companies actually sign thousands and lakhs of contracts, and if you do it manually, there's no way to track the post execution part, like tracking the obligations, compliances, when is the next renewal date for that contract, is all not being tracked. So that's why a solution like Contractzy comes in. Like, there's a platform where you actually have all these steps being managed in a single tool. So
I
we have
also think that you guys are helping us, in climate change as well, saving us from saving our environment. Because I'm just thinking the number of trees being cut down. That is,
absolutely
yeah, that is what is coming to my mind. We need
right.
to think about our environment as well, because the time we are living is seriously, we are jeopardizing everything
That's
around
correct.
us. Yeah,
That's true, Muskan. That's true because we are on the sustainable development goal also. SDGs is
right.
one, completely eliminating the paperwork. We're completely digitized today, and validated the idea with a lot of corporates who are already using the tool today. So yeah, that's the journey we have, and we are on the right track in terms of growth right now for Contractzy.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So, can you tell us about these terms like metadata extraction and risk analysis in simple terms?
Sure. So metadata basically, for if you look at the layman's language or for
Hmm.
a law student,
Hmm.
I would just put it as a spreadsheet, right? When we basically structure the unstructured data, we basically put it in a specific column way so that I understand the
Okay.
data very well.
Yeah.
So what metadata does is the entire contract, be it 10 pager, 200 pager, it will fetch the important and the key elements from the contract, which is very much required for a quick overview and visibility of the contract, like the execution date, the party one, party two, information, what's that notice period for termination, the tenure of the contract, and that just provides us a contract summary. So I know in on the face of a contract what are the key parameters that I need to check instead of going through page by page. So that's the metadata extraction which AI helps to extract over the time. The risk analysis component is where it's very critical part because this is where many tools have implemented this. So let's assume a situation where a contract or a lawyer actually reviews a contract in the manual way, right? In the traditional method. So what happens is they have to go page by page, even to track it whether it's matching the company policy. So when I say company policy, let's assume that the company wants limited liability and not an unlimited liability for a clause, for a particular transaction. So the lawyer has to be very careful to every time track whether it's a limited or unlimited liability. But now the system has built a playbook into the application wherein the company itself can set up certain rules as company policies as to what the contract has to read every time it's uploaded in the system. So by the time it's uploaded and actually the review happens, the AI would just quickly spend 15-20 seconds on the contract and analyze page by page or para by para for a clause and actually track whether it's meeting the company policy or not. So it flags off the deviations and suggests the clause as well. So that helps the lawyer not to stop working, but helps to quickly get those clauses up, the deviations or the red flags in the contract, and track them specifically to see what deviations are there and mitigate those risks in the contract. So that is where it helps the lawyers to fast track the turnaround time, specifically on the risk analysis part while they actually work. So AI is just going to help the legal teams work on the major things, and
Work
the
faster.
can be small processes effort can be still automated using AI.
Hmm. This is a little bit complex, that risk analysis part. Metadata was like easy to understand.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'll have to, listen it back, like if I want to understand it. Yeah.
Got it.
So, like, legal tech is something that Indian lawyers don't like and appreciate much because we are way too traditional. Like, I have had a talks with some foreign lawyers. They are like building some crazy tools, and but when it comes to Indian lawyers, I don't think they're very much, fond of these technology and everything. So, how did you convince your clients to say yes to technology, and how does Contractzy actually empower legal teams?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a good question,
Hmm.
Muskan. I think
Hmm.
over the time we realized, and we mostly working with the legal team, general counsels, and head of legals of different organizations. We realized that there is still kind of the backlog. That what if we're signing it online, whether it's going to be a legal contract, whether it's enforceable in the court, whether it's really compliant as per the DPA and the privacy issues. So that's exactly where every time we're getting questions from the IT teams or the legal teams. But I think how we position the product is basically helping us compliant first. Like we have the audit trails, compliant to the evidence law, the contract law, making it as valid as a contract which would be manually signed, right? Making sure that the signatory information is collected, so that consent is proved in the court. So every aspect in terms of how the contract will be enforceable, that all is covered, right? And also the security aspect of the product, right? Keeping the data secured, confidential, because it's all in the cloud.
Hmm.
Keeping the backup for the disaster recovery. So there are several things that are taken care of, and that's where we pass on those tests of the IT team, the technology team of those companies, to ensure the data is safe and in the cloud, and making sure that it's all there for them, which can be admissible in the court also. So that part is taken care of.
Yeah, because artificial intelligence is not just helping you guys, because it's helping hackers as well.
Right.
Yeah, it is a boon for them as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, but that's
Yeah.
right, Muskan. But yeah, there are some certifications that the tools undergo, like
Hmm.
ISO 27001
Hmm. Hmm.
certification or SOC 2 compliance, that really make sure the data is having those firewall integrations done to ensure that there's no data actually going out of the cloud. Like as you said, the hacking would not be possible in those cases.
Yep. And also, building trust is very important in case of technology, because in recent times, cybercrime has also increased a lot as per NCRB data. Yep.
That's right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Muskan, that's correct.
So, if you were a law student in 2025, where would you start learning about legal tech?
Right. I think the question is really good, because if you see from the today's lens of the legal tech and the evolution, I think as a student, I would first look at the opportunities. I mean, earlier it was just moot courts and the competitions that we participated. But now, if I look back, I mean, if I was now a law student, I would rather focus on what kind of initiatives or schemes that I could really work on. No, but still there are universities in India like Gujarat National Law University and several others who have actually the entrepreneurship cells that are set up, innovation councils that have been set up. So trying to organize some hackathons or participate in some of the events. Trying to learn more about different tools that have come in the legal space. I think that is very critical for a law student today. Having some certifications where they have already worked on a tool, maybe using a sandbox environment or a test environment for a tool like Contractzy, or maybe something in the litigation management or online dispute resolution, and that would really help them as a certification, that they can go to a corporate and say, okay, look, I have already have certifications, I know how the technology works, and I can actually help your organization digitize that entire process. I think that's going to be a spot on for every law student, besides what they're
Hmm.
learning from the legal part, for the basics of contracts. But I think exposure to technology, exposure to the tools right while they're studying is definitely a must for every law student today. It's a must.
So what I have noticed that law students are spending too much time in using and completing their assignments through ChatGPT. But what I feel that you can use ChatGPT or artificial intelligence for your first draft, but the final draft must be yours so that you are able to preserve your thinking, not just giving away. Otherwise, we'll be becoming intellectually obese. Do you think that it is true?
Right, that's true because I feel even in our time we did not have ChatGPT. It's
Yeah.
not to be misutilized. I mean, it's good for education purposes. It's good to learn a little more through
Hmm.
ChatGPT. But I always remember, Muskan, the AI has not been to the extent that it can actually replace humans. Even
Yeah.
though we can do copy paste work, it would surely not help
Hmm.
any law student to make that final touch to what they would learn out of it. But yeah, I think it's just good for research purposes. But the final output should always be with the inputs that you can actually work through the books that you have actually learned or using the technology.
Amazing. Let's say finally a student wants to work at a company like Contractzy. What kind of mindset and skills they must be building right now?
I think yeah. So when I started this Muskan, I had a very small team.
Hmm.
We've grown and we've built. I would say the people here actually have been given the thought leadership and the leadership positions because I feel that the one who joins the organization have to come with a notion that it's not an established company; it's a startup, and you are going to be part of the hustle every single day, building the process.
Before if it's a new company, then there is going to be a lot of hustle, and you're going to contribute a lot in that company.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think, Muskan, my suggestion to a law student would be always join a startup first. Because you
Okay.
learn more. Because what happens with an established company, you're given a task, you need to do that.
Exactly.
But with the startup, it's like you have to wear multiple hats. You're given the opportunity, it's an open ground. You can learn, you can undo, fail, still do something better. And
And
you
your
learn.
input will be like valued there.
Exactly, because that's exactly what we are doing, right? We are valuing each one's opinion. We're trying to
Hmm.
see what really works because it's all the test and the trial method, right? And in startup is something we always see the failures and the success also. So I think when we do have a hiring process, we always see what would be the innovation that they would bring to the table, what kind of skill set they would bring. It's just like we're not actually gauging based on what they learn from the colleges, but something that they would contribute to Contractzy. I think that is what we're looking for. And my personal endeavor would be like someone who could really take up ownership in Contractzy would be someone who I would just love to have in our organization.
Oh, that's amazing. So Contractzy is basically bootstrapped for right now.
So we initially bootstrapped. Now it's a funded company. We have early
Okay.
stage investors, angel as well as early stage VC fund.
Okay. I was like wondering that I wanted to ask this question.
Right, right.
Do you think the next generation of lawyers will need to learn coding or just legal tech awareness is enough? Because just one thing, like what I tell my students that you need to be very good at expressing yourself in form of writing so
Right,
that you are able to communicate with the technology. This is what
right.
I feel, but this is an additional question. Like you need just legal tech awareness or you need to learn coding as well because there are no code platforms also right now in
Absolutely,
market.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you are right on this completely, Muskan. I think
Hmm.
the writing skill sets, the
Hmm.
knowledge is very important. I think the exposure to multiple technologies, not only in India, I think globally is a must. However, with that, as you said, like the no-code platforms, now AI has come to such an area where there are some tools where you can just ask them for a kind of just mention what you need, like an app or a platform, and it just designs that for like in seconds for you, even a
Hmm.
website for that matter. So the AI has come to a stage where everything is done so quickly, where you don't have to learn the coding skill set as much. So I don't recommend. I mean, my personal opinion is
Yeah.
not, would not spend much time there. But for me right now, if I look from the law student perspective,
Hmm.
surely that knowledge would really help, and a lot of reading and writing definitely is a must for every student.
So we can say that if we are able to build a table first or a pyramid, first we need to have command or our own subjects. That is the first principles. Then we need to learn the first principles of the technology we are going to work with. That is artificial intelligence. In that case, am I right about this, or anything you need to add on this?
Right,
Yeah.
Muskan. I mean, completely agree with you on that point. I think
Hmm.
the base level always has to be the law, right, which you're learning as
Hmm.
on day. The second layer to that would be the tools, the AI. How does that fit into that particular subject? And if
Hmm.
that mastery is done right while they're studying, that would really help while they actually graduate, because then they know exactly what innovations can be built in that space or in that subject. I think that is something which is very critical today, and that would happen when there is an exposure from the industry academia collaborations, and even students being participating in multiple industry related events rather at the time during while they're studying. That would be something which is very innovative. I think that's very lacking right now in India, specifically in the legal space is what I'm thinking.
Industry, academic, and collaboration that you talked about, I really like this idea. We need to work upon this rather than focusing just on assignments and like boring projects. We need to focus on this as well, the practical aspect of these things. We
Absolutely. I
had
mean,
done a lot of assignments, yeah.
that's true, because I feel, Muskan, my personal opinion
Mm,
is always that. I mean, the more you interact, the more you give exposure, it's definitely going to help the student. And if you compare the education, I'm not saying it's bad in India, but if you do compare that with other universities abroad, I mean, there's a lot more exposure, and students are given that internship positions. I mean, that's anyways happening with the law firm, but not with the
mm,
startups. So we're
mm.
not giving that exposure in terms of working with incubation centers, working with accelerator programs, getting them exposed to build something innovative like hackathons. So I think that is something we need to build in every law college or university in India. And that's going to be the future for us going forward.
I would have really loved if my college would have invited Contractzy CEO to, our college and gave us a talk on how technology works and everything. But alas, it didn't happen. So, like, colleges must also take some initiative in this part. If you cannot just start some program, but at least invite those people who are into this space and are talking about this. I don't know why there's so much aversion with influencers and everyone. I just don't get it.
I'm not sure, Muskan, that it would take time probably for them to grasp it. But I feel that this can be done student level also. What I would recommend, and through your channel also, for the law students
Hmm.
who are actually hearing this, it's best for them to actually try doing a research, because anyways today everyone is online,
Of
everyone is
course.
doing a
Yeah.
research on Insta and YouTube.
Hmm.
But I think we need to all individually take that ownership and accountability for the work that they're doing, and try seeing the innovation in the legal space. There are multiple platforms today, multiple people in the industry who are working towards innovation, right? And I think you just need to open your doors, you need to open our eyes and just focus on that, trying to reach out to those people who can give you that exposure. I think it's nowhere that you need to be in the top tier industry or top tier city
This is
to.
what we are trying to do, like tell students everything. You don't just need few tips and just tricks to complete your law school. You need to just dive into the niche you are working in. You need to understand what's the core content and everything. Then only it will become interesting. You need to learn something different. Just otherwise, you'll just keep burdening yourself with boring assignments and everything. That
Correct.
gets Everybody is doing it. Let's be honest. Like everyone
True,
is doing it. We
true,
need to do something different.
absolutely.
Yeah. So this is my favorite part, rapid fire.
Right, right,
Can we
Muskan.
do? Can we start?
Yeah, go ahead, you can. I'll try my best to answer.
Of course. What's that one contract clause everyone pretends to read, but no one ever does?
With my experience, I would just give it as termination clause. I mean, so as short as it looks, but it does have a lot of consequences. We've seen that with clients, so I think, yeah, I would go with termination clause.
Okay, cool. What's the most overused word in every contract?
Um, I would look at the whereas word, right? I'm not very sure why, but
Yeah, 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 exactly.
I'm not very sure why it is. But yeah, that sometimes while I was actually learning,
Hmm.
drafting reading in college, I was still till now I'm still not very sure why whereas.
And it is so confusing at times. I don't know. I don't understand it. It gets very confusing and irritating at the same time. You're learning
Right,
again and again the same thing. Okay.
right.
Whom would you like to invest in Contractzy? Aman Gupta or Namita Thapar?
That's a difficult question. I would choose both, but still, I would go for Aman if I'm
Ah,
given the chance to choose between the
hmm,
two, because I think he has built at scale the GTM, the go-to market. We are at
hmm,
the scale stage, and
hmm.
his kind of working style and the energy that it brings, it would definitely bring the turbocharge for Contractzy. So Aman would be invited.
The fun marketing tactics that he uses in boat.
Absolutely. that really helps. I think
Yeah.
the energy that he carries is, I mean, he's built it from scratch to where he
Hmm.
is. I think that's something we need at Contractzy.
The turning point for what I liked about Aman is that he, invited an AI influencer to, talk about boat. That was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
It was amazing talking to you, Gautami. I got to learn so much about this industry that, usually when I search, I don't get such content. You should start writing more on LinkedIn. We would love to read
Yeah,
that.
sure, sure, sure. Thanks a lot,
Thanks, sir.
Muskan, for having me here.
Thank you so much. All
Thanks,
the
bye.
best. Thank you.
Bye.
You can check out the Contractzy's link in the description. If you are confused and need clarity, then I provide mentorship to law students. Just DM me on Instagram for all the details. My Instagram ID is linked in the pinned comment. Thank you.